What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the stream. Boy, am I excited to finally get back into a steady stream of streams, dare I say, to get back into a groove of things, to kind of make this channel fresh again and keep it on everyone's mind every single day. So I've got the schedule up, so hopefully you guys checked out the schedule. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this. We're going to be doing, continuing our playthrough for Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment. We're going to be working on case number 4 today, which is called the Abbey Grange Affair. I've also moved myself up into my office now. Finally, I've got about half the office done right now. So I've been recording videos and doing everything out of my living room because when we moved in, we had so much stuff. Our house is a lot smaller than it was before. So we have a lot of stuff, so I had to do a lot of kind of rearranging. And with a bad back, it's hard to do. I had to do a little bit at a time. And I finally got to the point where now we are pretty much, we're all set up here as far as the dailies go, is getting a live streams and making videos. I still have the other half of the room to do, which is full of boxes. It's crazy. I'll show you pictures sometime. But yeah, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Let me know that my audio is good. Let me know that everything seems to be working hopefully good, and hopefully everything is decent. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started here. This is, again, case number 4 in our blind playthrough for Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment, the Abbey Grange Affair. Let's go time. And again, this is blind. I have never seen this case. I don't know anything about it at all, so I'm gonna need your help along the way, or else we're gonna have a 10-hour stream like it was last time where I'm trying to figure out how do you figure this puzzle out, you know? So happy Monday to all of you out there, and of course, here we go. It's kind of a weird feeling to be up here in this room now, you know? It's like I was downstairs in this open living room, like there was videos that you could hear Ella laughing in the background but now I've got my own. It's a small room, right? Because, you know, we really downsized because of everything going on. But it feels like home. It feels cozy. It feels nice, and it's just good to get back into the swing of things and to start off, you know, this year hopefully, and let it be one of our best. So here we go.
The game is afoot, not a word. Into your clothes and come.
Are we playing as Watson?
I'll wait for you in the sitting room. I've just received a note from Inspector Lestrade, a letter from the suburbs. He is in need of my presence. Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Yes, they all seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
Kind of just puts you right into the case, you know. Let's see if that lady is still there looking at us. Man, I swear, she has been staring at us for 4 episodes, probably months on end. Nighttime, daytime.
Holmes, you should take a look.
Doesn't matter what it is.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
All right.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Table, letter. There it is. Now, I am using Wi-Fi, so let me know if you guys see any hitches in the quality or anything like that, but hopefully the quality is still good. I'm waiting. I bought a 50-foot Cat 7 cable that's going to be coming, that's going out through the house to come upstairs. But for right now, it's literally, you know, working on the Wi-Fi, so hopefully everything works fine and everything stays upheld.
I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
Where's my face cam? You know, some streams are going to have face cam once I get it hooked back up, but I haven't had the opportunity to hook it back up yet. So face cam will be coming for some games that we do, of course, but some games will still not have face cam.
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
You didn't get a notification, Stealth? Well, I mean, you probably didn't get a notification. I mean, I've already had this schedule since yesterday. So a notification would have went out yesterday, actually.
A wax seal with the monogram EB.
All right, let's get into our voices here. I don't know if this is a woman or a man speaking. Oh, this is Inspector Lestrade. Okay.
My dear Mr. Holmes, I should be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promises to be a most remarkable case. It is something quite in your line. Except for releasing the lady, I will see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it. But I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Yours faithfully, Inspector Lestrade.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like there's anything else. We need to investigate the murder. And it says, Holmes receives an urgent late-night summons from Inspector Lestrade. Something is wrong at the Abbey Grange. It appears to be a case of murder. Now remember, hopefully you guys checked out the schedule for what's coming on the next few days or the rest of this week. We have a lot of games coming up.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She is in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
All right, the game is afoot. Inspect the room where Lady Brackenstall is. Of course, we're going to look around a little bit.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
All right, looks like that's all where we can go as of right now. Oh, I saw an examine. Here it is.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall.
Brackenstall of the clan Brackenstalls.
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Ramsay Bolton Brackenstall?
Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
I am currently playing on the Xbox Series X right now.
Lord George Brackenstall.
Brediact Acton of the Brackenstalls.
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall. The Brackenstall family seems rather austere. Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
All right, first let's do our character portrait before we start asking a bunch of questions. You guys know the spiel. Fresh bruises, so she has been hit clearly. Pale cheeks, which tells me that she does not go to a tanning bed. Did they have tanning beds back in the 1800s? A gold brooch, which, okay, Australian origin. Gold. What else? Just Australian and gold. Kangaroo and emu. So Australia, you try to remember that, obviously. Elegant dress. So obviously she's uptighty. She's wearing her wedding ring, so clearly she's the wife. And she has bruises on her. Old bruises. So that tells me that she's been hit before, because it says old bruises as opposed to the new ones that are on her face right now, so.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
What do you guys think? Do you think something's afoot?
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
I gotta go with old bruises, right? That's gotta be it. Because the reason I gotta go with old bruises is that was the last thing that we saw, was the fact that she had old bruises on her hands. And Lestrade's statement doesn't mean anything to me in this situation. So I gotta go with old bruises. I hope I'm right. I guess we'll see. Yes.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
How do you... Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Your ladyship?
I wonder if they were... Well, I mean, was it straight up murder, or was it a happenstance where they're trying to rob something and then, you know, he's there, so they get a little carried away and kill him? We'll do it.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
First, I would like to study your character.
Apex Legends, oh god. Wrinkles. Trust me, I'm not trying to fill her up. I just gotta look everywhere. Bloodstain, but it didn't do anything. Vinegar, resuscitation, caring. Working hands, obviously. Coffee stain.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
No, and then.
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Okay. Alright. Well, look at that reflection. That's pretty good. Like, you see, it's just the small... I like to look at the details in every game that I play. But you see the small things here. First of all, she's got no hair. It almost looks as if her character is bald. You can kind of see the bun in the back, I guess. I mean, kind of. It looks like she's got a big bald head. But look at the detail. Like they literally had to create a floor underneath the floor. Because you can't just actually do real-time reflection like that in here. You're literally... The teams are creating, like, an extra layer underneath that makes it look like you're seeing above when it's a replica of what's, you know, going on. It's pretty cool. Two women.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one?
Cat's up on my TV. She always likes to get into things. That's what she does. Ooh, the Rock of Gibraltar, huh? 1893. Was that like 1893's version of, you know, like a big concert or something?
So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Okay, so I guess that's it.
A trapper's hut.
What is a trapper's hut? Oh, does that mean like someone who hunts? A trapper, right? Traps animals. It's a hut. Maybe that's what they've built in the whatever. Okay, I'm just looking around here. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. All right, so as far as I know, what we need to do next is to go into the room that she had said we need to. Look at the table first. Some glasses. What is this from? Oh, okay, so these are a gang that have committed burglaries. I just love saying that. Burglaries. Wait. Burglaries. How do you... I wonder how you guys pronounce burglaries. I always say burglaries. But, yeah, I always wonder how you guys do that. So they're just talking about the 3 men. So the elder, Jack Randall, he's in his 40s. He's gray-haired, average height and build. He's the mastermind behind it all. The first son, William, he's tall, broad-shouldered, with a small, disproportionate head. The younger brother, Melvin, is somewhat of a weak, skinny as a rake. All right.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
See, and that is what has got me twisted, right? What if she's making this up because she saw in the Times article, she was like, maybe this is a chance to pin this crime on him because he's an abusive husband, and you know, these are the things that Sherlock is thinking about. Yeah, right. So at least that's what I'm thinking about. So the Randalls are well knowns, and the criminals identified. Obviously, that would be one. Let's see what it brings us to. So we've got one. All right. So Randall's blamed. The robbery was faked. The whole story invented in order to blame Sirius's death on the Randalls or the Randall gang. The testimonies and evidence match the point. All right. So it's one. It's going to be one or the other. Clearly. And just because I like to do this, I like to get all of the possible conclusions out of the way. We always just click and to see if any one of them matches up, and the fact that those two don't match up, we can do that one, and the fact that none of those match up. See? Nope. And nope. All right. So now we know we're good to go. We can keep going. Process of elimination. Very nice, beautiful interior. Where did Sir Watson go?
Lord George Brackenstall.
Hold on, I want to find out which one he is again.
Sir Warthen Brackenstall. Lord Brigham Brackenstall.
Brigham. There's Inspector Lestrade.
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Ramsay and... So where is the useless Eustace? Whatever his name is, he's not in there. Ooh.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Well then.
A hunter's cabin. A hunting scene.
Okay, clearly these are hunters.
Antique hunting weapons.
I know you keep saying behind picture RB, but... Well, I'll go back in there and look in a second.
This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. This glass has some wine traces. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear.
No clue what that means.
A decanter standing next to the open bottle. An inseparable pair indeed.
I don't even know what a decanter is.
Chateau Calon Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru.
Yeah, I have no idea what that would be used for. Maybe it's to keep it from... to keep the taste or something like that. When you clicked RB, it showed you something around picture. All right, well, I'll hear you out. Let's go over and take a look real quick. I always like to give everybody a fair chance, but we took the picture with us. So what? Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
Thank you so much. We could have missed that, so I do appreciate it, man. I should always know that when the RB thing shows up, it means there is something there. Let's get all these clues. Oh, there is something here too. As you can see, when it shows that, it looks like a mantelpiece. There.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. A fur trader's cabin.
Let's keep searching around the room real quick. Pictures. Some broken glass, clearly, some wine bottles.
These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents.
Well, you know, it's just like what, you know, what's his name, Tom said from True Lies, you know, what kind of a sick woman steals the ice cubes out of an ice cube tray, right? You know, what kind of a, if she did it, what kind of a sick woman steals her own silverware, you know? Usually it tells you when you've done and you've seen everything there is. Oh, missing bottle. That's probably the bottle.
A bottle of wine is missing here. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware.
This was where she was held up?
Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing is sailor's knot, so that has something to do with something. All right, so we got knotted rope. No process of elimination. That's what we do. Nothing there. 2 glasses. There we go. 3 people or 2 people. So there were 3 people drinking wine out of these glasses. One of the 3 probably prefers wine with bee swing. There were 2 people drinking wine out of the glasses. The remaining glass with the bee swing consists solely of the dregs from the other 2 glasses. See how this is leading? This is giving you like that both conclusive thing that it just could either go both ways, you know? We gotta find a way to put these together clearly. Oops, there's another little thing there. Sorry.
This is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
Okay, so let's examine the body.
So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
All right, so he died immediately. It looks like we had a little history lesson. So wines used to come and sometimes still do with all sorts of sediments in the bottle. A decanter is a glass vessel like a bottle, but specifically shaped so that the sediment, the small solid particles, sit at the bottom where you can pour and drink just liquid wine into the glass. Okay, very interesting.
Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon.
Thank you so much for that little tidbit, Kara Lampos. Hopefully I said that name right. Apologize if I didn't.
Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress.
You can't just assume that because I walk around the house barefoot all the time and my wife yells at me because I'll get footprints all over the floor, so...
The head was cracked with the force of the blow. That must be the murder weapon. It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation.
All right, let's take another clue together. I mean, that was it. So let's go with one. Let's say it's the Randalls, right? So we'll do the two with the Randalls blame. Well, that's interesting. If it's 3 people, then that means it would be the Randalls. But it's telling me red. So knotted rope. Maybe violent, but no. No. Always good to analyze each and every single clue. Make sure that it looks like none of them match. Okay.
A fur trader's cabin. A fur trader's cabin. A deer hunt. A hunting scene. This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there.
How would you even know? Go up there and find out. You see what I'm saying? I mean, how would you... You guys see anything else that could be here? Let's talk to Watson real quick.
The death was instant.
Thanks, Watson. You're a big help. So, let me do my French doors thing. Got a well. You can't go in there. I'm not getting a sense of a break-in or anything like that, so to me, this is telling me... I don't know, I just don't get a feeling of... that people broke in here, you know? Alright, so next thing's next is we need to find out the thing. There's a few things we need to do with her. Let's do the safe first. We'll do the 3 glasses.
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
You forgot to tell me, did you? I know that's right.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship? Let us try to open this safe. This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention.
Oh, here we
The
go.
dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
She definitely sounds sus. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit so I can hear it. So rotate left and rotate right. Well, that's telling me that it should be that one right there. Okay, so now I gotta rotate right. All right, and now left. There we go. Look at us. Look at us.
Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care. It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal.
Sir Eustace, your current physical and mental state is of great concern. There are several signs of hypoxic decompensation. The last time that we met, your eyes were bloodshot and your skin was tinged with yellow. There is a particular odor from your breath that is common in those suffering from liver damage. Then there are the lung abscesses that we have discussed. The so-called leg cramps have described to me are caused by an alteration to the nervous system, which in turn is caused by an excess of alcohol. That includes the tremors. Your liver seemed excessively hard at the time of your examination, which is a sign of an involving cirrhosis. There are also signs of ascites. In case you don't know what that is, sir, it's fluid in the peritoneal cavity, which are evident with your swollen stomach. The pain beneath your left rib indicates a pancreatic malady, which may lead to fatal and fulminant pancreatitis. Your condition may pose a risk to others. Your excessive alcohol consumption lowers your self-control and heightens your aggression. I am available to help you with this problem. There are a number of treatment options.
Trying to figure out voices, you know. Inspect the room where Lady Blackenstall is. All right, so, man, she is really pale.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
I want to look at the picture of the dog. Okay, so we did the safe, we did that. I think we've... I want to say we've done everything. Let's talk to him now. Oh, we can't do a character portrait?
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
Man, you can just tell that this is leading to to what they have done, right? So, violent behavior with Inspector's tail, maybe? Definitely. Okay, so if we're doing the domestic violence route, then you definitely got to go... to that. And that should lead that blue. See? That's if you were going that route. All right, so let's find out what our next thing is. We've got some dialogue with the medical report found inside the morning room safe, which states Reese is back under door, poor health, suffered an tobacco and nervous disorder. So we got to figure out who we can talk to with that, and the sailor's not. Perform analysis, a piece of the rope. So we need to do a piece of the rope, and there's someone we're supposed to be talking to that will help us with that. Investigate the murder, collect Toby from Baker Street, and follow the scent trail. So we need to go back to Baker Street. I don't think there's anything else left in here, but let me just do a quick once-over just to make sure.
This house feels rather sinister. I can't say that I like it here.
Okay, nothing in the clock. Pictures, seen all of that. I think we're good. All right, let's head to, let's go back to Baker Street, and we'll hit up the, analyze the rope. I'm actually really looking forward to the prequel that's coming out here soon. Okay, these are the things I'm usually pretty bad at, so.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope.
It's probably, ooh, I think cutter.
The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
Okay. So scissors it is.
The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
Oh. So a knife, eh?
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
I would have thought the knife would have been the worst one to have been right. The rope was cut once with a sharp knife and tied quickly in a sailor's knot that could indicate the intruders had a sailor's background. Okay.
My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
Someone should take Toby for a walk.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
Hold on. Collect Toby and follow the scent trail. Alright, so I'm guessing we're going back to Abbey. And then using him. Hey, Toby! He's with us. I don't remember using much of Toby in the second game in The Devil's Daughter. I could be wrong, bro.
Search, Toby.
Oh, this is crazy. Was this? I like this.
Who's a good boy? Toby's a good boy. Yes, he is.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
I fell down the well. That's all. Oh, there's more.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route. Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire. The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it? The bucket can be easily removed.
Gotcha. All right. Simple enough, and we can probably get it from over here in the shed.
This hook might be useful. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved.
Well, that could be anything.
This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty.
Oh. All right, so we've got the hook, so
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
Okay, there we go. I was like, why won't it let me?
The wheel handle is old and rusty. It seems to be used infrequently. Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence.
So, if it was those guys, why would they place it under here? Why would they know that there's a hook? Why would they know to change
The
it out?
Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
You see what I'm saying? This is totally leading up to being one of those ladies' faults. So we silverware found. And tied quickly into sailors, not that could indicate the ancients. And, yeah. All right, so robbery is confirmed as a motive for the crime. The criminals may have plans to return for the silverware that they dumped. Why didn't they just take it, though? Imitated robbery. The robbery could have been imitated to explain the death. The silverware was not supposed to be found. I'm going to say the silverware was not supposed to be found. You know what I mean? All right, later, Brandon. Have a good one. Sir Eustace was murdered by the one person who was visiting that night. It was he who tied up. He is tall and strong. Now that's leading that way. But that's about all we have to go on as of right now. You can see everything else. Got another clue there. So that could have been due to his accidental striking his head on the fireplace gate. No, it's got to be the poker blow. Which is another way to lead to the murderous visit. So that's like two ways that lead to the same thing, but could change. See how that takes that away? 3 people. Now this is if we're just switching this up a little bit. Randall's Blaine, poker blow. Could be deadly accident. See, those becomes red. All right, so we clearly don't have enough clues right now, so we need to figure out what. At this point, what we need to do. Investigate the murder. Inspect the. We've completed all of those. All right, so we need to dialogue with her about the silverware and a dialogue with someone about that. I'm liking this one so far.
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
For silverware?
Your ladyship? Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was specially hard for her.
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
Well, we got something else. shortly after arriving in England and remained at home during that time. There's little possibility that she or her maid acquainted with anyone in the country. So we have found every clue up to this point. But there still is this silverware evidence. I don't know who we need to talk to about. There's still someone to talk to here, which is why the task is still there. So there's still someone we need to talk to here. It's got to be Inspector Lestrade, probably.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
And he's looking right at the camera. That's great.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
All right, so is that all the clues? Really? It's this? That's it? All right, let's say there's an acquaintance. All right, but something's still off. We don't have any more clues. There are no clues at this moment. It says, please continue the investigation. I don't think we have every clue we're supposed to have yet. There's still something.
This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think, what else can we look at here that we're missing? Man, I'm drawing a blank here. Alright, we'll go back to it. Two people. Yes. Which it turns everything that way. Yep, yep. The person who was visiting that night was probably a sailor. Look for a sailor. All right. Search for possible sailor suspects. Oof, how in the hell?
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
Alright, so my only suggestion, I guess, right now is to go back to Baker Street. Was there something we needed to look up? I don't remember that part.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Aha. Search the Rock of Gibraltar. No, it's not going to be in chemistry. It's going to be in probably newspapers. The Rock of Gibraltar, 1893. The name of the ship, the date, lady, and remains voyage from Australia. All right, so we need to go to 1893. Rock of Gibraltar's arrival. The Rock of Gibraltar, a boat carrier from the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, has returned from 6 months' voyage through India, New Zealand, and Australia. Ship brought to England Miss Mary Fraser, the heiress of the Fraser family, owning land in tin mines in Australia. This report is presently engaged to Sir Eustace Brackenstall, one of the wealthiest gentlemen in Kent.
Here it is.
Task for Wiggins. The address of the Rock of Gibraltar ship owner. We can find the crew list.
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
Huh? You'll call in... Oh, okay, that's what that was. Where do I call him in? Okay, I think I see it. I'm trying to focus on it, but you gotta like look there for it to happen. Almost at 100 likes, everybody. Keep those likes coming. Helps the channel.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893 and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
3 hours later.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
All right, so I see Ernest Woods.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor.
So not Henry, not Ernest. I don't see Thomas Walker. Okay, there's more. Charles.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
All right, so we got Jack, Thomas, Herbert, William.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Oh, that's a different Herbert, but this guy.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Okay, so now we just got Thomas Walker and Herbert.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
That just leaves Herbert.
This officer is still at
What?
sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Ooh, okay, then that just leaves Jack. Jack Crocker. I don't see a Jack Crocker. Unless I missed it. Right there, okay. Captain.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
Oh, it's so fun. Alright, so what's next? Call Crocker to confront him. But... looks like it's going to do it automatically.
This Crocker.
So,
Do you think-
Crocker, if you
It
ask
would be
me.
interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Sometime later.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
This dude's got evil all over his face. Clear look honest, okay. Strong build, very strong hunk of man. Well, why aren't you gonna give me anything there? Newspaper ink. Clean boots. Sea knife. There you go. He's got a knife. Now that's a knife.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
Ooh, they got a little kinky.
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Gotta be sailor's knot.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night?
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
All right.
Now I understand.
I'm doing pretty
why you
good. Hopefully you're doing
dissected
well,
the
bud.
bell rope.
All right. Captain Crocker and Crocker's statement. All right, so... And we've got our first conclusion, which is the captain is the killer. Har har. So Sir Eustace was murdered by the one person who was visiting that night. The murderer is tall and agile and a high-ranking sailor. So we could arrest Jack Harker as a murderer, and you'll bring him and his accomplice lady to justice. The murder was quite a self-defense. Jack Harker defended a woman against a violent and dipsomaniacal man. The mystery is solved, but you decide to keep it secret. There is no need to inform the police. Well, you know, we're going to look at both, of course, but we're going to continue the investigation for now because there's still many, many more options. The question is, you have found and utilized all clues in the case. All right, so now it's the deduction. So this is it. So with that being said, we need to rearrange these to get all of the outcomes and options. So let's, for instance, say that it was the three guys. We know that that's not true because this leads to be him, the killer. I mean, it's pretty clear. So instead of two people, we're going to go three. It's going to take all of those away. We're going to go imitated robbery. We're going to go robbery is the motive. Okay. The Randalls blamed. Poker blow. See, I don't know. Okay, I see it here. Let's go deadly accident and switch it back over to two people. This should help things line up. Robbery is not the motive. Initiate robbery there. And we got to turn... Yeah, keep that there. Hold on, how did I do that? Okay, we already know the captain's the killer. But this is the tough part, is to get at that. The Randalls were blamed. The poker blow. But see, this is where I'm trying to turn it around. Okay, so we turned that around. Okay. No acquaintance. Does that change anything there? No. Ooh, see, this is tough. This is where you gotta, like... I'm trying to get this over. So 3 people, the Randalls are blamed. Robbery is the motive. Poker blow. See, deadly accident doesn't change it at all. Okay. Those match up, so that means... Poker blow. There we go. The Randalls are guilty. So Eustace was murdered by the Randall gang. Robbery is confirmed as the motive of the crime. The case is too simple for you. Take this opportunity to give all the credit to your friend Lestrade. Your name will not appear in the press. Trump the police. The speed with which you resolve this thorny problem is indicative of genius. The police naturally only demonstrated their incompetence. That's hilarious. All right, so here's the question that we have to ask ourselves. How many scenarios are there? We can go to the conclusions and see the captain is the killer and the Randalls are guilty. So are these the only 2 options in this level, or is there more? There's got to be another one. Usually there's 2 or usually there's 3 or 4, right? So but what is maybe an acquaintance? Yeah, I'm going to try to go for an accident. So deadly accident. The Randalls were blamed. No. See, this is the toughest part, is to get these in whatever order. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, bud? All right, there we go. Domestic accident. So it's involved with 2 people. They intimidated the robbery. The Randalls were blamed. Deadly accident. Domestic accident. Was an accident caused by a struggle with his wife. Lady Breckenstowe and her maid committed the crime in self-defense. You decided there's no point in blaming this poor woman. Or condemn. Lady Breckenstowe and her maid killed and attempted to cover their crime. They deserve to be treated as criminals. So here's the question, man. Which one is correct? See, this is, I don't know. I mean, I've got my suspicions, I think, but I don't really know which one I want to end up with conclusion-wise. The captain is the killer. I know the Randalls are not guilty. It's got to be that one, right? Because someone did the sailor knot. Someone did the sailor knot. So it has to be the captain is the killer. But we're going to look first. We're going to take a look at all 3. Okay. And then we'll go from there. We know that this one is not true. So I'm going to click on this one first. And we're going to take a look at both outcomes. So here we go. First one is glory to Lestrade. We play all of the conclusions here so you guys can all see how they all play out. This was by far the shortest episode.
Well, Inspector, this case proved to be a simple one after all.
You think it's the Randall gang, then?
Yes.
I'll put my men on it straight away.
I'll leave that to you, Inspector. After all, you have handled this matter quite brilliantly.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes. I do appreciate it.
All right, so there you go. That was that one. We'll go back to choose another ending. I didn't think this was going to be over. That one was going to be over that quick. I mean, that was a fairly quick one. All right, now we'll take a look at the Trump police.
Well, Inspector, this case proved to be a simple one after all.
You think it's the Randall gang, then?
Yes.
I'll put my men on it straight away.
The next time you call on me, do try to make sure it's for something a little better than this.
What do you mean, Mr. Holmes?
It is a case that only Watson could find some small point of interest in. I am used to more challenging work.
Yeah, it just makes him sound like a complete pompous asshole. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely don't like that one. So we both know that that's not it. Okay. So again, I think it's going to be the Thomas is the killer, but I'm going to absolve him. And the reason is because the husband was an ass who drank and hit his wife, and you should never do that. Domestic violence is a very bad thing. I mean, I grew up to domestic violence in my household, not from my father, but from my stepfather, and I cannot say it enough. I despise anyone that thinks it's okay to hit a woman or to hit a man. It doesn't matter if it's male, woman, it doesn't matter what it is. Domestic violence is wrong, and you should be punished severely for it if it happens. All right, so let's go with the domestic accident. Don't you think ruins the immersion? No, because the whole purpose of this blind playthrough is to show you every outcome. So I have my inclinations of what I think happened, but it doesn't ruin my immersion in anything because you have options to choose from. It doesn't hinder me from thinking this is the way that I think it happened. You know what I mean? So I don't think it hinders anything. Now, if I were to do a walkthrough for this, I wouldn't show all the outcomes. I would show just the one that's correct, right? But this is the playthrough. This is we want to see every conclusion. You know, we want to see if we were right or not. So, first thing is we will absolve first, I guess.
Ladies, I know the full story. You are both guilty, are you not?
Mr. Holmes, I can explain everything.
No, madam, he's bluffing.
It is no use. Your husband was a violent man, a cruel man. Your argument last night ended tragically, with him stumbling and falling, fatally striking his head upon the fireplace grate. However, your mise en scène to divert suspicion was unnecessary. You should have admitted the truth.
The truth? is often subjective, Mr. Holmes.
Not to me.
What will you tell Inspector Lestrade?
He will find nothing, as he handed the case over to me. Farewell, ladies. Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
As you can see, that's not right. Domestic accident is wrong. Which we already knew, because we're going with the other one. Although that would also be a very, very... I mean, that could possibly be one of the ways it could have been done. But we know what happened. It was a domestic abuse kind of thing. But it just didn't happen that way. Now we're going to do the other one in this chain, which is condemn the lady. And remember, the next episode for Sherlock Holmes is going to be next Monday, because we're having it set. We have a set schedule, so every single Monday will be Sherlock Holmes. That's why we got that schedule out. We're going to try to stick to it.
Conclusion, Lestrade. I regret that your culprits are in the next room.
Lady Brackenstall and her maid?
Yes, and their mise en scene after the death of Sir Eustace can only point to premeditation.
That's terrible. Follow me. I'm going to arrest them. Ladies, I must arrest you both for the murder of Sir Eustace.
What? But that's impossible. We are innocent. Madam.
You'll tell that to the judge. Come with me now.
You were making a serious mistake, Inspector. You too, Mr. Holmes, which is rather surprising of you.
Or rather, impossible.
It would have been funny if he would have looked at the camera and said that. Because, you know, that would have, like, it'd be like, you're choosing the wrong one, sir. All right, so now we're going to go with the one that I think is correct, which clearly it is. Now, the question is, what are we going to do? I, for one, think I'm going to absolve him. We've been leaning towards absolve in what we've been doing, as you can see. Now, here's one thing to note, and this is something that I've picked up so far in all of the cases, and you can take a look if you go back to the videos that I've done previously. When we find the correct one, and we've been using absolve every single time, which is your choice. It's never, the game lets you choose, but it has always been the X option in the bottom, right? As it is right here, absolve Captain Crocker in the bottom. Now, if you looked previously when it said domestic violence, it said absolve was in the A portion, which was in the top left. So it switched it. Do you see what I'm saying? If you go back and you look at all of the ones that were correct, that we have done correct, absolve has always been in the bottom right. Now, I don't know if that has anything or any bearing on anything, but it's just a coincidence that I've noticed that, like, I don't know, that just makes, that just tells me that what I'm doing is right. You know what I mean? So we're, again, of course, we'll go with the one we're not doing, which is the arrest Captain Crocker first, and then we'll do the correct one. So Jack Crocker is a murderer, and you will bring him and his accomplice, Lady Brackenstall, to justice. Very fun episode.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
I like how he says that. Can you ask him to come here again? Barely an hour has passed later.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife, the knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
What the heck? Oh, nice.
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case.
That was cool.
Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
And then you will clearly see that, yes, that is correct. And we can choose to do either one that we want, right? It's a choice. But let me explain this to you guys in another way. I believe there is an achievement that you get for sticking to your guns with how you do these murders, right? And from the very, very first case, the case of Black Peter, we have decided to be an absolver because everyone that has committed the crime, we have felt that there was something to absolve in it or whatever, right? That's the kind of the way that we have went with what we've done. Okay. So thank you, George, for the subscription. I appreciate it, bud. So yeah, so we're not going to do the moral choice to arrest Captain Kuraka, although we did get an achievement from that specific ending. We're going to choose another ending, and we're going to do the one that is the absolve. And this should play out a little bit differently than any other one. So this has got to be one of my favorites ones so far, because every single one that we have done is actually been different and had a reason to go back and look at the other ones. Some of the other ones were always the same thing, just slightly different, you know, in a dialogue or something. But this one, all of them have been pretty different. So now we're going to say the murder was committed in self-defense. Jack Crocker defended a woman against a violent and dipsomaniacal man. The mystery is solved, but you decide to keep it a secret. There is no need to inform the police.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Again.
Right away.
Again.
That's the way he says it, man. It's great. Also, yeah, don't forget to go over to our Discord, everybody. Click on the link in the chat or in the description and join our Discord.
Come here again, Mr. Holmes.
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife, the knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
So it looks like
Please
you're doing for
forgive
both.
me, Captain Crocker. I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, we'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited for the Justice League Zack Snyder cut. I can't wait to watch it.
Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
There you go. We have done it, ladies and gents. I think it's pretty obvious, Dennis, if anyone knows me, that my favorite superhero is Superman. I mean, I've got 2 Superman tattoos, so much Superman collectibles and whatnot, and you know, I've had banners with Superman on it for my channel for years. My profile picture is a cartoon picture of me with a Superman shirt on. I think it's pretty simple to see. The only thing I regret in this is that I didn't let him like do it, you know, at the end, you know, when I stopped him from doing it. I regret doing the first one by not interfering and getting in the way and just letting it happen, because obviously it would have been a different outcome. But there you go, ladies and gents. We're going to go ahead and accept this decision, as we feel that it is the one that is correct. And there you can see our ranking is very conscientious. The Abbey Grange affair is complete. Thank you to all of you for motivating me to get these done. I've had a blast playing these, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I know for a lot of people, things like this can be very, very boring, especially to watch. But we're in this together. We're finding clues. We're coming up with ways of what you think, of what I think. It's a team that we work together, and we complete these games like these. And I love being able to interact in the chat and everything like that to all of you. Wasn't a very long one, of course. This was probably the shortest mission that we've done, I think, so far. But it was very fun to figure out. Not a lot of action, but these games just don't have a lot of action. Yeah, so I'll probably have more 2K21 this Friday when Sports Day comes around. So you'll be able to, excuse me, sorry about that. You'll be able to check that out then. Friday is going to be Sports Days for live streams. Tomorrow we're going to be back with Splinter Cell. So we're going to be working on the next mission, which is going to be in Seoul, I believe. So other than that, we will see you next week for the next episode of Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. Thank you so much again for watching. Follow us on Twitch, follow us on Discord. All the links are in the description. Become a Patreon or a member. It helps the channel out. I'm going to be creating a video that's going to go on the end of every single video that we do, and anyone who's a Patreon is going to have their name showed up on that video, so that way you get a little bit of love back from me, and I'll have you in the credits of all the videos from now on. To get you some of that love back for supporting the channel, either by becoming a Patreon or by becoming a member. So thank you all again so much, and love you all. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.